successfully delay climate action for so many decades. It doesn't matter to us, and it costs too much to fix it. So how do we break this vicious cycle? We often assume that it's a lack of understanding, rather than psychological distance and solution aversion, that's at the root of the problem. Everyone just needs to understand the science better, especially the really bad parts, we think. If they did, they'd realize how bad it really is and how urgently we need to act. It's no surprise, then, that many books, movies, and websites about climate change are full of doomsday messaging. The science offers plenty of legitimately frightening examples to pull from. But as Andreas Karelas shares in this book, despair cannot power the long-term, sustained action we need to address climate change and build a better world. Instead, it overwhelms us with fear and anxiety. Fear may generate a strong short-term response, but ultimately it's more likely to paralyze us. We do not accept climate change because we wish to avoid the anxiety it generates. George Marshall writes in his book, "Don't even think about it. Why our brains are wired to ignore climate change." And anxiety has a shelf life too. People who are anxious and afraid cannot maintain that state forever. Eventually, they overload and check out. That's why, to break through this stalemate we're in, we need courage and hope, not discouragement and fear. Where does that hope and courage come from? Not from the science, where every new study seems to show how the climate is changing faster or that its impacts are more widespread than we thought. And they don't often come from politicians either. Years of failed attempts, broken promises, and rollbacks have left U.S. federal policy worse off today than a decade ago. Neither do they come from a generic wish-you-well aspiration for a better future that may occur in some mysterious way through no actions of our own. No, we need specific, actionable solutions. We want to know, what can I do? Is anyone else working on this currently? Can we succeed in stopping climate change and build a greener, more equitable world in the process? Or are we truly doomed, as we've heard so many times before? The answers to these questions come from people acting, from people who are doing things, who are sharing things, who are making things happen, from ourselves, from others we may know, from people we don't know who may live on the other side of the world from us, but whose story we've learned and who inspire us. From many of the amazing people in organizations and companies and movements that are described, in fact, in this very book. And that's what this book is all about. It's full of hopeful, inspiring stories of people who are working toward innovative solutions that we can share with everyone we know. Stories like the ones I look for and try to share nearly every day, including with my own faith community. Being an evangelical in the U.S. can be discouraging, to put it mildly. Between 60 and 70% reject the reality of a changing climate, as Christian organizations, media, and political leaders regularly generate and share misinformation about global warming. At the same time, though, engaging with conservative communities has helped me understand what really matters. It's not more climate data that convinces us to care. Rather, it's when we connect the dots between climate change and things we already care about, and share stories of good news solutions that we become open to learning more. And what's exciting is that more and more unexpected allies are coming to the fore, leading initiatives to support clean energy and fight climate change. You'll learn about many of them in this book. The truth is, even when life is at its most discouraging, if we set out to look for bright spots, we will find them. New technology like electric airplanes, record-setting price drops in solar energy and battery storage, cities and companies that have set 100% renewable energy goals, the evolving climate justice movement demonstrating what a just transition from fossil fuels to clean energy looks like, and millions of individual and community-based actions by people just like you. These are actions that begin with a simple conversation, where we share our hope for the future and the courage and commitment to get us there. Without a positive vision of the future and the courage to work for it, the worst ills of climate change will come to pass. But by talking about why it matters and what we can do to fix it,